All right, guys. So today we are going to discuss something about what is the hardware, what is the IoT uh, hardware we are going to learn. All right. So uh, hardware especially for IoT application for the AI based applications. All right. So and second thing is, right, what are what kind of AI applications we'll be using? Well, we can run on Raspberry Pi. All right. So third thing is how to do the setup process. All right. So we'll try to discuss this today. And what is the special need for this particular application, and what are the things we are going to look in this areas? All right. We're going to check in that places and then do the work. All right. So here are the few things. All right. So let's start with the Raspberry Pi. All right. So usually, like when you talk about Raspberry Pi, this is one of the smallest tiny piece. So single board computer, we call it a single board computer, wherein we have the RAM, ROM, and RAM, ROM, which is available so sufficiently. So for doing any small task with respect to IoT, guys. So here in this case, when you talk about Raspberry Pi, all right. So we have some hardware things that we need to do. So let me go ahead and show that the hardware features, what we have to look in. All right. All right. This is one of the hardware. This is one of the site, their official website, where we get all the information about the Raspberry Pi and all. Right. So we're going to look into that area. And if we come down to the computer about us, let's see. Okay, there are other places where we need to look in this. Okay, especially like when you talk about this hardware, right? So, what my view is, so this has 1.2 gigahertz of processing speed processor, all right? So second thing is it has 1 GB of RAM, all right? So DDR3, and uh, a small amount of GPU is also available. All right. So and then we have the ROM. It's up to you. So it needs an SD card. All right. So SD card. So we're going to use whatever SD card we have, right? So that's ROM we have. All right. So 16 GB, 32 GB. All right. So 32 GB. My for any especially for our purpose, right? For any AI applications, all right. So I would suggest you go with at least 32 GB starting, all right, starting, and then we'll working on that. All right, so we'll be working on that particular areas, and then right. So once you're done with this particular processing part, all right. So this is the basic stuff that we need to know about the hardware, and then once you have the hardware part done, all right. So uh, we have the hardware ready. We can go ahead and start working on building the operating system. All right, so operating system. All right, so building the operating system is pretty simple, guys. All we need to do is we need to download one of the, go to here, go to downloads, all right, Raspberry Pi session, and then you can go with either of this, like a Noobs and then or the Raspberry Pi, whichever version you want. Right, my choice would be going into the Raspberry Pi, and then go into this download section. All right, so I would take down this particular notes and I will share it at the end of this class, so you don't have to take any notes during the class time. All right, so all you need to do is just click on this particular download button and it'll start downloading a zip file. All right, so you can extract this. This is an image file. You just need to extract this and then flash this to the SD card. So that process can be shown in getting started, guys. So all you need to do is, till this point, you just need to download the Raspberry Pi version. So I have already downloaded this, so I'll be pausing this particular download. All right, so and then I'll be going into the hardware section. So this is an introduction part, uh, guys. So getting started link. All right, I'll copy this and save it for you. All right, so getting started. All right, so this link, what it does is, so it will show you how to connect Raspberry Pi computer to all the regular keyboards, motherboards, and everything, right? So and then keyboards and the mouses and everything, right? If you see here, all right. So there's the SD card, there's a keyboard, mouse, LAN, all right. So audio cable, HDMI, and the power cable, all right. Power cable is the one which we should connect at the last place, all right. So it should be the last one to connect because we need the other connections to be done before, prior to powering this particular SD card, all right. So powering this particular board. So next, once you're done with this particular connectivity part, all right, so all you need to do is you just need to go back into your computer, all right. So Raspberry Pi computer, and then SD card, so connect a monitor and everything, so whichever it is, all right. So it will take you through the download section. You need to download the image file. So on short, it will give you all the details how to extract the zip file and then try to do the work and all. So here in this case, he has given the other way of doing it. So it is Noob's part. All right. So Noobs, and then you have downloaded that particular thing and connected back, dropped into the SD card, and then booting from Noobs. Yes. All right. So all you need to do is, once you've done this particular copying part and all right, so extracted the zip file and then just copy the contents into the SD card. All right. So and then connect to the computer and then boot it up. When you boot it up, this is the first screen you would be seeing. So you need to select the Raspberry Pi. All right. So once you select the Raspberry Pi and go ahead and click install, so it'll take a few minutes time, 10 to 15 minutes time. And then what it does is it's gonna come up with something like a dialog box like this. So OS installed successfully. So then you need to click OK and then proceed further. So here in this case, and once you're done with the operating system part, we'll be going into the Raspberry Pi. So this is a Raspberry Pi, guys. So when you look into this area, all right. So there's an HDMI card and this is a camera module. So wherein you can connect camera module directly into the board, so that it'll be easy for you to access the camera images and everything. So whatever captured images, everything, right? You'd be doing that. And then next thing is the SD card. And if you have some kind of displays you want to present it to the screen, right? So this is a display header wherein you can directly connect your display header. Uh, to my knowledge, so I can connect a 40-inch screen, all right, so touch screen also, or 20 inches touch screen, or LCD screen, LED screen, whatever it is, all right. I can connect this with this particular display stuff, all right. So this is a processor module and this is a Wi-Fi module, so wherein you would be connecting to the Wi-Fi wireless network and all. And if you want to use any LAN network, right, so you're going to use this Ethernet port into this and then connect to this. All right. So and apart from that, as we were discussing yesterday, so we'll have sensors and actuators. So sensors and actuators will be connected to this particular general purpose IO pins. All right. So these are the pins which will allow you to program. All right. So and then you're going to take the information and send the information back to the real world. All right. So these are the 40 pin headers. So, and few of them are ground in supply. So normally provide used to provide supply to the sensors and the actuators. So, and we can program somewhere around 26 to 27 pins, GPIO pins for different purposes. All right, so we're going to use that. And then once you're done this particular job, right? So we are there's something about the SD card. Right, so and about the board here, right? So and then we have this four USBs, all right. So here you can see only two, but one below the other there are four USBs, and then this is an Ethernet port, guys. And we have the audio jack wherein you can connect to any music players and then try to do the job. And also we have the HDMI cable, so wherein you can connect to any regular TVs or monitors, right? So we can try to connect to this, right? So that's one thing. And then once you're done that job, right? So all you need to do is you just have to take the SD card, all right? So connect this, and then first SD card. Once you're done that, you're going to connect the mouse and then keyboard, right? So into another USB, and then the HDMI card, all right? So HDMI cable, and then once the HDMI cable is done, so we are going to have this LAN card, and then this audio cable is there, and then the next one is the power cable. And then once you're done the job, and it's once you power this up, we can see a red light which is coming on the board. All right, so here you can see some LEDs. This the red and green LED which will come up and then glow, and then there'll be a constant red LED. So that means it is booted up, and then you can see this particular beautiful screen on your desktop. All right, so on your monitor, whatever you're connected, right? So you would be seeing that. Once you're done that, so once you click on that, you need to do some finish few other setups, because we need to use this Raspberry Pi for a different purpose altogether. So that is for setting up the Wi-Fi and all, right? So we need to do that. So in previous screen, guys, if you observe here, so let me go back. So in my previous screen here, so you can see an Wi-Fi icon which is not connected. So that means it is not connected to the internet yet. So we need to change some settings. By default, this will be a UTC timings, that is like UK timings. You need to change it to our local timing size. So that we need to do. So first thing is, so you when you connect, the screen will pop up, and then you need to click there and then go down, change the password and everything, right? So we need to do that. So first thing is, once you set up the screen, you would be given a dialog box like this. All right, so and wherein you're going to select your country and then language and whatever time zone you are in, and then click next, and then it'll ask you for the change of password. So by default, the login username is Pi, and then the password is Raspberry, and you can change that to anything of your choice. All right, so and then click next, and you would be selecting the wireless network whichever you're trying to connect. All right, so and then click next. Once you're done that job, all right, so it is going to reach the internet and get an update of the operating system and all right. So once you're done getting the operating system done, so all you need to do is just click done, and then you can go ahead into the Raspberry Pi. So Raspberry Pi is almost similar to any small computer, guys. So we can use it as a desktop computer, right? So especially for kids, right? So we can have this, because they need very less power, and then they don't need much of this graphical speed. And also we just can connect this and then give that to them. Here is a case. So you're going to click. You'll have everything like, for example, let's say you go into accessories and text editor. You're going to connect the accessories, and then we have the text editor. You can open that. You can do the same similar whatever notes you want to try to take, right? So you can write taking the notes on this, right? It's almost similar to the notepad in our Windows application, right? And then click next, and then you'll be going into the complete, I'm like this is a terminal, guys, wherein you would love to work on. So and we have all the Python and everything which is pre-installed altogether already, so you can use them directly, and you can just update that and then try using that. All right, so all of that is possible, and then you can download and delete all of that, so which is possible. And then once you done with that, so make sure that you are connected, you set up your Wi-Fi country. So when you click on this for the first time, it will ask you for the password, and then click on it and then provide that particular uh, country needs also. So the country setups also, you need to go with the selecting India as well, so that we need to do. And then once you're done that job, right, so you can go into the Raspberry. So we have this Chromium browser which has been inbuilt, and which has been in onboard installation, so you can try clicking on that, and then you can try browsing your network and all. So we have something like Python games to play, some like a Scratch, right? So some versions of some other games which are there are also available, right? So you can try looking into all those areas. And you can do something like we have a lot of applications also, we can try doing that. So for example, let's say there are a lot of things, all right, so cameras, all right, so a lot of applications which you can try building, all right, advanced HTML. So something like which is similar, which we can use it for our uh, schools, so wherein we can use them at the schools for educating kids and all. We can build our own chatbots, small things like small things, all right, we can try doing that job. All right, so all of this, like we can do a lot of projects also. So a lot of projects that is possible with us. Let's say this would my interest would be on this line follower. So line follower robots, wherein you can try doing that job, right? So right, so this line follower, right, what it needs is it needs a sensor. That sensor which normally detects the black line and the white line in this case. So let this get open. My screen is getting painted, so kindly wait for me, please. All right, so these are the two lines, so two systems which are two sensors which are there, and then this is a regular controlling circuit wherein you'll be using it as part of your application, guys. So and then this is a Python code, simple Python code, wherein you can see it, right? So GPIO Pi, and then we're going to get the robot and then the line sensor, right? So there are few libraries which are available from this particular GPIO thing, and then we have a lot of inbuilt libraries which are available as part of this. All right, so we can try looking into that area as well. So that will help you simplify your coding process. So here you can see it is following the line. All right, so I'm going around. Right, so here you have some uh, thing that like it's going off track and something like that, but you can plan for a better algorithms. I think you guys are better at that, right? So you can work on those areas and then try to fix on these areas, right? The final algorithm would be something like this, all right? So line detection, so both the line size values, and then we can try. So left and right operations, what are you looking, right? So these are the operations which will go back to your IoT devices, wherein these actions will be converted into the physical actions on the board. So that's where we are going to work on this. All right, so this is just about a sample thing that you would look at, right? So and then we can look into those areas, guys. And then my interest would be, so how well you are going to convert, I mean, how well you are going to connect the IoT and then AI part. Okay, and then here we are, right? So this is the Raspberry Pi as we have introduced. And when you talk about the Raspberry Pi and the machine learning, right? So we are going to use it widely. And then the TensorFlow can be used later for, especially for the small computation things. And then TensorFlow along with the Python, right? We can use it without any problem. And we can see one of the donkey car applications wherein you can fix and you can work on these particular areas. And then we have a lot of things like TensorFlow along with the Raspberry Pi to like object detection in a video, right? So which is possible, right? This is possible. And then another application like self-driving donkey car, which is also possible. And then second is like Google's team, right? So they have this ML and DL part, so wherein we can try using that open library, so can be used, right? And then we have something called Google AI Kit, so for especially for artificial intelligence yourself, right? So wherein you would be using that particular platform for doing a lot of work here. And then this is specially used for the image sorting also, wherein you can sort the large scale of images, right? So uh, especially with especially if you have a large volumes of images, right? So man, maybe hundreds like that. So we can try sorting those images based on that, and then we can use for other purpose. Like for example, I have seen um, they're making astronauts. They had this made a virtual co-pilot. all right, so using machine learning, and then Solar Pilot Guard, so something like which is helpful for them on the using that particular switch to text detection, and then trying to convert them and then sending them across, right? So do a lot of job here. And then OpenCV, open computer vision, so open source computer vision, so wherein you can use this libraries extensively on a Raspberry Pi, right? So we will be using that. And guys, once you're done this job, right? All right, so once you're done this job, so we are good to proceed further. But there's a small disadvantages of this particular thing using a Raspberry Pi. So that is like we cannot since the RAM is very low, so that is 1 GB of RAM, so you need to do the uh, specific jobs, right? So if you are having high computational jobs, right, you're going to connect your Raspberry Pi to your computer. And so whatever small things, right, you're trying to plan, right, so you can do it on the Raspberry Pi. If you are having a heavy computational things, right, you can move that to your computer or a supercomputer which is connected in the network, and then you can do the processing over there and then send the instructions back to the Raspberry Pi. So within local, if it is our local network and Wi-Fi and everything, right, so it will be very easy for us. And in-house things, then we can do it very easily without any problem in this case. All right, guys. Sorry guys for that. And something was interrupting my call, right? And then and then we need to train the network on the laptop. So we need to connect our laptop and then the Raspberry Pi, and then we can change it. So there are many ways how we can exchange the data. So that is like we can connect our Raspberry Pi, all right? So Raspberry Pi uh, and your computer can be connected with a USB, that is serial, right? So serial UART and UART. And then once you've done this serial UART, right, so we are good. And then we can use USB to communicate between the Raspberry Pi and the computer. And then we can use um, RX and TX, right? So RX and TX. So this is for especially for
I don't know that.
RX and TX. We can use. All right, guys. So we can use RX and TX USBs, and we have the other kind of communications. All right. So we have serial, right? So and we can use Wi-Fi. All right. So we can use MQTT protocols, and we are going to use HTTP as well. All right, so API calls and all others. All right, so other things, right? So which are useful, and we can do a lot of connectivity jobs and exchange data, and right, so through many other things with the computer as well. So there are a lot of ways, but the effective way, if you are in the near to your Raspberry Pi and doing this stuff, right? So effective way would be the USB. If it is a smaller processor, you can do it on the Raspberry Pi itself. If it is a heavy, huge process, right? You can move it to your computers or your servers or the cloud, all right? So using different HTTP techniques, and then we can do the processing part. So I would be taking you through other sessions. So we'll try to help you out. Uh, we'll try to help you out with the taking the how to reach the clouds and then try to do the over HTTP network and everything, right? We would be discussing that in sooner or later. Let's say we'll be doing that job. All right. So once you've done that particular operations, right? So we are good to move further into the application part. All right. So these setups are needed. So I would so we'll have a workshop during this weekend, guys. So in that workshop, right, I would be taking you through the setting of this Raspberry Pi on our local network. So till then, so I would be discussing about the kind of operations, the kind of setups that we are going to do, and all right, application part, and we're going to look into that area. All right, guys, thank you so much. And this is all about how we can use AI and IoT in the combinations, right? So we have seen a lot of physical devices which are talking to the computer, and there are a lot of events that have uh, been handled by the devices. It is not possible just with IoT alone. So it is possible with the combination of AI and IoT. So we're going to make our life smoother. So you can see all of those instance, right? Like, be it the restaurant payments, be it at uh, uh, the door accessing part, and you're trying to give the guest access, whichever it is, all right? So, and everything, lawn is being controlled, everything is being captured, all the incidents, right? So you're trying to capture them and then trying to connect and do the work here, right? So there are a lot of combinations how we use our common sense that will be converted into the artificial intelligence part, and then try to connect that with the IoT, and we are going to do a lot of actions, make sensitive decisions, right? So you're going to do that part, all right? So there are a lot of ways that we are going to work on these areas, and then there are a lot of applications in coming days where we are going to work on, all right? So I would like to take you through the other process, how we are going to, what are the sensors we can connect, and then what are the other actuators you can control, how you are trying to connect to the cloud, or sending the data, sending notifications, all right? All of these areas, all of these places, we are going to work on those areas, all right? So I will give you the gist of what IoT can do, and then we can jump start into working on those areas. And then at the end of this session, right? So as we were planning, right? I will be giving you two major projects, right? So that is all about combining both AI and IoT. So just give me a minute. I'll try to take up this particular the curriculum part, what we have planned for our sessions. All right. All right, guys. So this is what it is all about. So which I have planned. So today we have seen how to do the introduction part and then getting started. From tomorrow onwards, we'll try to work on how to capture the connectivity, how we are trying to wire the Raspberry Pi and then try to do the access. And later we'll proceed further. So we'll be using UART and then PWM, and then we have the other sensors that we are going to connect, and then we are going to do this. And we have something called Pi camera module, wherein you can do the image recognition and image processing part, whatever it is, right? So you can try all the image related stuff. And at the end of the day, sessions, right, I would be giving you how to connect Python with the OpenCV, OpenCV, that is like computer vision, and you're going to work on the combinations and then trying to do the job. And later, like, you have this project, agriculture project, wherein we have already built this application agriculture project, and we have collected a lot of information, and you guys would be working on building the project, as well as apart from that you would be working on taking the data and you would be doing the analysis part. So what is my expectations, I would be giving that, so you can work on those areas and then try to submit that as a project. All right, so once you've done these two things, all right, so you would be having an idea so how we can integrate AI and IoT, because in future this is going to be a big hard cake, and that will change your careers as well. So please uh, try to concentrate on this, and then try to finish off this particular 10 days program. Right, so let's with this I'm closing my session, guys, and then I'm opening for the questions. So if you have any, kindly post me in the question areas, and then you have I would be unmuting all of you guys. So if you have any questions, you can ask me all of that. All right, so I don't see any questions here. So coming, so not sure if you understood or didn't understood, that's fine. So I'm gonna ask folks to share this particular video with you guys, so that you can go through it in the later times also. All right, so I'm gonna stop my session here, and then we'll catch up tomorrow with the other parts as well. All right, so we'll proceed further. Thank you guys, and you have a nice day there. Bye bye.